put a conditional structure inside any fork of another conditional structure, and that process is called having a nested conditional, or in this case we use if-else structures. But it could be an if, else if, else if, else if, else structure, and each one of those forks might have another if-else. Or it could be a switch structure, and each fork of the switch structure could have an if-else or even another switch. And of course, inside any one of those nested if structures, we could put another if structure or another conditional structure. So we can mix and match these and do really complex things as needed. So in this example, we're asking a question here, condition 1, whether that's true or false. And if it's true, it's going to take this path and display some output. But if it's false, we're going to come and do something else and ask another question, in this case, question number 2. And if that's true, we'll perform process C. And if it's false, we'll do process D. So process C and D will only occur if our condition 1 is false. So in essence, we have 3 different routes here that's going to happen. One route, a second route, and a third route. One thing to note when we have nested conditional structures, and we're going to see the same thing with nested loops, is the indentation. And so the curly brackets on the if and the else and those 4 curly brackets should all align. And then here where we have the nested condition, that if and that else and those 4 curly brackets should all be indented, and they should all align together on the left. And it makes our code much more readable. So here's an example of a project we're going to do. So we're going to have a button that asks the user through a message box, are you a freshman? And if they say yes, we're going to then ask them, are you living in the dorm? And if they say yes to that, we will say enjoy school and the dorm life. But if they say no to living in the dorm, we're going to say good luck finding a parking spot. Both of those paths will continue on until we hit the end. But in a lot of cases, you may have other code here after those nested ifs that we want to have happen regardless of the route that we take in this nested if structure. So if they say no to being a freshman, then we're going to ask them, will you graduate this year? And if they say yes, we'll give them a congratulations message. If they say no, then we'll give another message that says, okay, nothing wrong with taking some extra time. So all 4 of these routes end up in the same spot. And again, there may be some common code that takes place before we hit the end. Let's go to Visual Studio and code this. So I've created a simple project called Nested If Demo, and on our form, put that title in the text for our form. And I've created a button with the text of class standing. I'm going to name that button. So I'll click on it. We'll just name it BTN Demo. So very simple interface. We're going to code that button. I'm going to create a dialog result object. And I'm going to call it DR Freshman. And we're going to create a couple more. There'll be a DR Dorm and a DR Grad. So DR Freshman is going to equal a message box we'll simply ask, are you a freshman? My title will be class standing. Let me drop that down the next line so you can see this. And then we simply want our message box buttons. And here we'll use yes, no. If DR Freshman is equal to our dialog result dot yes, we want to do something. And if it's not, we'll have an else fork here. I'm going to go ahead and create our else fork. So if they say no, it will run the else fork. Well, if it says yes, we're going to do another message box. I'm just going to copy this one and paste. And here I want this to go into DR dorm. And our question will be, are you living in the dorm? And our title will be living in the dorm. Again, we're going to ask yes, no. And here we're going to have another if. Now notice how this one is indented inside of this structure. This is our nested if. And our question, I notice I have a uppercase O on the dorm up here. I'm going to fix that. So our question here is going to be if dr dorm equals dialog result dot yes, then we're going to do another message box. Our message will be enjoy your classes and dorm life. And our title, let's just do life in the dorm. I don't need any buttons, so we'll just do the OK button. But then I want an else fork. And that else fork is going to bring up another message box. And our message here is going to be good luck finding a parking spot. And we'll say commuter student for our title. Okay, so that's going to take us down the fork if they say yes. So again, looking back at our flow chart, what we've coded is the freshman question, and then the blue area here, which is the yes, we're asking for the dorm. And if they say yes, enjoy school life, they say no, good luck finding a parking spot. Now we need to do the else fork of our freshman question, in which we're going to ask, are you going to graduate this year? And then say congrats, or okay, nothing wrong with taking some extra time. So I'm going to basically just copy this whole structure, I'm going to kind of duplicate that and paste it. So here, our message box response is going to go into dr grad. And then our question is, will you graduate this year? And the title will simply be graduate, question mark. And so if dr grad is yes, our message, and I just noticed I missed a comma on those two message boxes. Normally in a face-to-face class by now, my students would have pointed that out to me. So it's good to have an extra set of eyes. Okay, so if they say yes, our question or our response back in the message box is going to be congratulations. We'll say congratulations on finishing your degree. And our title will simply be excellent. If they say no, then we're going to say nothing wrong with taking some extra time. I'm going to get rid of this blank line. And then our title will be keep working on that degree. Don't see any errors being posted. There's no red squigglies. Let's test the application. Okay, so class standing, are you a freshman? I'm going to say yes. Are you living in the dorm? I'm going to say yes, and we'll get the message, enjoy your classes in dorm life. I'm going to do this again, say yes again, but this time for living in the dorm, I'm going to say no, and I get good luck finding a parking spot. Class standing again, this time I'm going to say no, that I'm basically a sophomore. Will you graduate this year? Yes. Congratulations on finishing your degree, and I know there's a little typo there I need to go back and fix. Class standing, are you a freshman? No. Will you graduate this year? No. And nothing wrong with taking some extra time. So we'll end our program. I'm going to come back and add the I here on finishing. And then we'll go to the File menu and choose Save All. Okay, so that's an example of nested ifs. Again, you can put an if structure inside any fork of an if, else structure, or inside any fork of a switch structure. And that nested conditional can be another if, or it can be a switch.